You can work on sprints, strength, and agility all day, but if you can't extend your big toe, you'll never hit top speed. Big toe extension equals a better push-off, which means faster sprinting and a more efficient change of direction. Without it, your stride is shorter, you waste energy, and place more stress on your knees and ankles. Hoopers and any sprinting athletes need a minimum of 65 degrees of big toe extension to have the potential to unlock your top end speed. But more than half the hoopers I test have less than that, and most of those are around 30 or 40 degrees. That's like sprinting with the emergency brake on. Your engine's revving, but you will never hit your top speed. Here's a quick test you can do right now to see if your big toe is slowing you down. Okay, we're gonna get in a half kneeling position here. I want your knee directly over your heel, your shin pretty vertical. Your ball of the foot, outside of the foot, and heel should stay firm on the ground during this exercise. You're then going to take your big toe and lift it up as high as you can. It's okay if these lateral four toes come up off the ground, as long as your outside part of your foot, your big toe, and your heel all stay firmly pressed on the ground. Just for reference, this is roughly 45 degrees here. This is about 65 degrees here, which is what our minimum goal is. As you can see here, I have more than 65 degrees. As you're doing this test, if you have pain before you get to 45 degrees of motion, that's considered failing. If you have to rock back and bring your ball of the foot off the ground, that's considered failing. If you have to roll your ankle like so and bring the lateral part of your foot off the ground to get your big toe up more, that's also considered failing. And then of course, if you simply can't reach the minimum 65 degrees, that's also considered failing. If you're a basketball player and failed this test, then you are very likely cheating somewhere else in your body to make up for the lack of big toe mobility. And the reason I know you're compensating is because a lack of big toe extension limits your stride length. And when your stride gets cut short, you're instantly slower. And what do hoopers do when they feel slow? They just push harder, which piles on more stress. Here are a few of the compensatory mechanisms that can occur from a lack of big toe extension. Starting with the foot and ankle, whenever you hit the ground, you can flare your foot out like so that whenever you go to push off, a lot of that stress is now going onto your knee and hip here. Another thing you can do with the foot and ankle is whenever you are pushing off, instead of coming straight forward like this, you can roll to the outside because of a lack of big toe extension. So again, it's like so. That's going to put a lot of stress on the lateral ankle ligaments. It's a great way to set up a future ankle sprain. Moving up to the knee joint now, as we push off when we are sprinting, our big toe, our ankle, our knee, and our hip all work together and share the load well. But whenever our big toe is stiff, we slam through the knee to try to compensate for the lack of mobility that our big toe is not giving us. So this overloads our quads, our patellar tendon, and our knee joint in general. One of the contributing factors to why a jumper's knee is so prevalent with hoopers. Back to the example of striking the ground with a flared out foot like so, and eventually pushing off from that same flared out position. This movement actually comes from our hip joint, which means our hip is now in a bad position, so we can't recruit those big, strong hip muscles optimally, and this can lead to hip impingement down the road. When some athletes try to make up for their limited stride, they'll often overarch in their low back like so. This may gain you a few more inches, but the constant compression that you're getting in your low back is only going to lead to tightness and pain down the road, either during or after running in the low back. If you couldn't get 65 degrees of big toe extension on that last test, then I'm going to show you 3 simple exercises that you can start today. And even if you did pass that test, you could still benefit from exercise number 3. The first one is a manual big toe extension. So cross your leg, your opposite hand will stabilize the foot, your same side hand will do the mobilization. So you're not holding this one should be dynamic and repetitive. You're basically thinking about trying to take your toenail and bringing it towards your foot. This one is a closed chain extension mobilization. You're gonna be in a modified split stance here. We're gonna be mobilizing my right big toe here. And so you're gonna keep the ball of the foot and the outside of your foot on the ground, but your heel is gonna come off the ground as you drive your knee forward, and you're gonna come as far as you can as long as it's pain-free. Again, if you do have pain, it's okay to touch the pain, but do not plow through the pain. Try to drive the knee basically right between your first and your second toe, going straight forward. Toes are pointed straight forward. The last exercise is big toe end range isometrics. So you're gonna get in that similar modified split stance. We're working on my right big toe here, and you're not gonna come up all the way like you did in the last exercise. You're gonna come up to about 90% of what your big toe extension is. And then from here, you're gonna do 3-second isometrics. You're gonna push your big toe into the ground as hard as you can for 3 seconds. Then you are going to lift your big toe off the ground for 3 seconds, as high up as you can. Then you repeat. So I'm gonna push into the ground again for 3 seconds, as hard as I can. And then I'm going to lift up for 3 seconds, as high as I can. So again, you're not quite going to your 100% end range, back off to about 90% of your end range, and then you're doing a 3-second push down and a 3-second lift up. So if you're grinding every day during training, but wondering why you can't keep up on the court, don't just blame your genetics. Check your toe mobility first. Fix it, and you'll unlock the ability to run faster, jump higher, and more importantly, to keep your ankles and knees healthy so you can stay on the court longer. Please subscribe for more content from Basketball Movement Lab, where our goal is to make you a healthier hooper by keeping you on the court and making you a more efficient mover on the court.